Okay, well, awesome. As of now, we will discuss over the Greek philosophies, because Greeks are greatly acclaimed in the modern scientific arena. So, depending on their contribution towards our modern age in every discipline, it is science, philosophy, social sciences, economics, geography, in any subject matter, in any discipline, they have contributed a lot. So we should know about the pioneers, how they started their journey, and what is their contribution towards the society and towards the development of science and technology. And to know the Greek philosophies, we firstly should know one thing, that is the Socrates. Socrates was the first Greek philosopher who is greatly acclaimed and greatly renowned to the world. And after that, there are many more, like Pythagoras, like Thales, and many more. So we will be discussing over each and every whom in this book has written. We will be touch every philosopher, and will be discuss over their thoughts and how they perceive the world, and is there any linkage between the nothingness of that kind of philosophies. So we'll be seeing over that matter also. Okay, let's start. So in chapter 1, so I am using the UGC philosophy net book. So in this guidebook, there is a chapter called Early Greek Philosophers. So in this chapter, they have discussed about several Greek philosophers like Thales, Anaximander, Anaximenes, Pythagoras, Parmenides, Heraclitus, Democritus, the sophists, Socrates, nihilism. So there are several theories and several proclaimed philosophers and thinkers. So first here they have mentioned about the Thales. Let's look the what Thales has mentioned on his theory. What is Thales' contribution towards the philosophical development of the world? Let's get into this. So first, early Greek philosophers Plato and Aristotle, Ionians, Pythagoreans, Parmenides, Heraclitus, Democritus. So these are some philosophers. Pythagoras, you have greatly known about the Pythagoras theorem. Parmenides, Heraclitus, Parmenides, Heraclitus, and Democritus. So these are some philosophers. The sophist and Socrates. Plato theory of knowledge, episteme means epistemology, and opinion, doxa, theory of ideas, the method of dialectic, soul and God. So they have vastly discussed over the dialectics, method of dialectics, various dialogues, and how they can use for our own inquisition or inquiry. Soul and God, Aristotle, classification of the sciences, theoretical and practical and productive, theoria, praxis, techne. So these are some Greek terms. Logic and organon, logic as an organon, critique of Plato's theory of ideas, theories of causation. So in our Indian philosophy also there is cause and effect. So there also in Greek philosophies they have theory of causation, form and matter, various forms and matter, how. So it is just the index. Potentiality and actually, soul and God. Medieval philosophy, Saint Augustine, problem of evil, Saint Anselm, Saint Augustine, Saint Anselm, ontological argument, Saint Thomas Aquinas, faith and reason. Essence and existence, the existence of God. So they have mainly discussed over the God and what we perceive, how we perceive the various kinds of words, various kinds of dialogues and words, and how we can use these terminologies to inquire ourselves. So they have mostly discussed over this phenomenon. Well, here in the first exposure, now they have mentioned about we got to know about the few things about metaphysics and epistemology and ontology. So what is metaphysics? Metaphysics means beyond physics. So there are physical things in our existence, in our universe. So what are the beyond matter, beyond physics, beyond physical existence? So that is discussed in the discipline of metaphysics and epistemology. So epistemology mainly discuss over the knowledge part, how we can perceive. So in our Indian philosophy also there are some branches that is mainly discuss over the knowledge part, how we can perceive, like Anuman, Upaman, then like comparison, testimony, perception, comparison, testimony. There are some division in Indian philosophy also, how we can perceive any knowledge. So in means Greek philosophers also they have that part of epistemology. Epistemology discuss over the sense of perception or knowledge, how we can perceive our knowledge from the universe, means how we can see and how we can get from that seeing, from that point of view or observation. So then after that, that is ontology. So ontology is discussing mainly over the being. being means the stillness. We can say that being means how we can be as an entity or a spiritual being. So what is the existential value of our beingness, or of our existence itself? So it is discussing about on the category of ontology. So let's get the telos. So that are the from the exposure of introduction. Then the first philosopher here is Thales. So according to Thales, the universe is fundamentally water, because water admits of being vapors, liquid and solid. So according to Thales, what he suggests, that what he proclaimed, that the universe is fundamentally the water, because water admits. So I will not go through all the lines one by one. So I will highlighted the main or fundamental things, or the rooted things of his philosophy, or any other philosophy from Greek philosophers. So I will highlighted the main basic or essential parts. Then we'll discuss over by what we get from his philosophies, from their philosophies. Okay? So he is mainly emphasis on the water, because water admits of being vapor, liquid and solid. When water is heated, it assumes the form of vapor, then till it becomes solid, and when it is allowed in its natural course, then it is a flowing stream. So here he mainly mentioned about the value of a demand or value of water, and how water transform him in a liquid form, solid form and a running water form, and a vapor form, vapor form, liquid form and solid form. How it is transformed himself in 3 different forms. So he is he's saying that, so it has some kind of basic qualities with our existence, that he is changing himself, the water changing himself in 3 different ways. So in first paragraph that is mentioned. Then Aristotle, the biologist, conjecture that Thales chose water to be the ultimate stuff, for food is always wet, and this liquid food nourishes the body. Even the generating seed are wet. So in later days, the philosopher Aristotle also supports the tell us what he proclaimed, and he also conjuncture, he also assumed that why Thales gives so importance on the water, because he sees some stuff like water is in different forms, like water to be the ultimate stuff, for food is always wet, and so every food there is a portion of wetness, we know, and the paddy fields, and on the fields, how it is go, there should be some water link with that, water substance with attached to that, and subdued to the growth of the paddy fields, to the growth of that crops. So in growing the crops and nourish the crops, and after we take food in the body, that also assimilate, like transform into blood and go through blood vessels. This whole process is from the water, and body assimilate and also turn it on the water, to the water. So this whole process is from water to water. So water is very essential. So Thales, Aristotle also proclaimed that Thales, he also assumes that Thales must be in some point right, because it is in their whole journey, water, we depend on water so much that from growing a crop to assimilate a crop to pooping down. So in this whole process, the water always congested. There is a huge role of water. So, and the secondly, the most important thing about Thales is he gave birth to scientific way of thinking. So Thales gives most essentially the scientific way of thinking. How should we think? It is said that he predicted the eclipse, how eclipse happened. He also predicted that eclipse, solar eclipse, which took place in 585 BC. According to Russell, Thales discovered how to calculate the distance of a ship at sea with the help of observations taken at 2 points, and how to calculate the height of a tree or pyramid from the length of its shadow. So Thales' contribution, his contribution towards the development of scientific thinking and towards the development of philosophy is very vast. So he has also predicted some of the eclipse, and he has also discovered how to calculate the to track a ship, and his contribution also towards the measurement of pyramid. So he measured the pyramid with the help of his shadow, pyramid shadow, and he can most probably calculate the length of the pyramid. So his contribution is very vast. No doubt the philosophy and science of Thales will appear to us to be very crude, but he laid down the foundation of scientific worldview in the sense that his speculation was wholly naturalistic. It was neither anthropomorphic nor theocentric. However, he regarded magnet as something living, for it attracts things towards itself, and all things are full of gods. So he can do very probably very accurate measurements in something, although he is not very scientific, because he is very ancient and very prominent Greek philosophers. So although his all predictions are not very scientific, but his contribution we should taking care of his contribution. We should acknowledge and make dignity towards his contribution towards science and philosophy. Okay, that was all for Thales. So next we'll move towards the Anaximander and Anaximenes. Okay, thank you very much.